Hey my puppies, this is Melody Fletcher with Deliberate Receiving. Finally the universe makes some freaking sense. And it's time for our LOA Q&A. And this week, Awesome S asks, Hi Melody, I have a question. How do you become motivated again to work towards your dreams? Before I found the law of attraction, I worked really hard towards the things I wanted, was inspired, and hustled. I made things happen. However, since learning about inspired action and the importance of feeling good, I've become very lazy and stopped taking action towards the things I want. I don't even feel inspired anymore to do much to reach my dreams or live them now. I feel like I've become very lazy knowing the law of attraction. I'm really stuck in my life and I feel unmotivated to plan and to make things better. Well, Awesome S, this is a question that I get a lot, and I'm really grateful to have a chance to explore it with you. Because when you start to do this work, you often get to a place where you feel like you're really unmotivated and just kind of floating and lost. And I want to explain that in this video, and then we'll give you some links in the description to help you explore it even further. So in order to explain this, I need to explain to you what the spectrum of empowerment is. It's like a spectrum of energy. And if you think about a number line, and don't worry, we're not going to do math here, but if you think about a number line and it's got a 0 in the middle and it goes off -1, -2, -3 to one side and +1, +2, +3 over to the other side, and those negative numbers are where the negative emotions lie and the positive numbers are where the positive emotions lie, and 0 is the middle point where we call it, that's what I call the threshold. Now, most people are living on the negative side of that spectrum. They're in negative emotion, they have a lot of resistance, and that's where we are motivated primarily by pain avoidance, pain minimization. So most of our choices come from which option feels less crappy. Which option feels less painful? So most of the time people will do something not because it's joyful, but because it's less painful than the other choice that they think that they have. So that's on the negative side of the threshold. Now, as you start to do this work and you get more sensitive and you release resistance and you're aware of how you feel, you can make it to the 0 point. The 0 point is kind of a neutral point, and most people think that's the goal. If I can just get to the point where there is no pain, then I'm done. But they're forgetting about the whole other side of the spectrum, the positive side of the spectrum, where joy and creativity and flow are. Now, the important thing to realize is that your motivation on the positive side of the spectrum does not come from pain minimization, but pleasure maximization. It's not pain avoidance. You're making your decision no longer based on which one is less painful, but which one is more pleasurable or more awesome. And this is a 180-degree shift, yeah? And when you get to that 0 point, it can feel a little bit numb, a little bit lost for a little while, and here's why. If you've been hitting your thumb with a hammer for a while, and then you stop, and then you caress your thumb with a feather, you're not even going to feel that feather. It's far too subtle, and your thumb is throbbing, and you're feeling the relief of not hitting it anymore, but it's just going to go numb for a little bit until it recovers. But then once it's recovered and the nerve endings have recovered, then you're going to be able to feel that subtle and pleasurable sensation of the feather caressing it. And you have to remember that in the upper end of the spectrum, the more positive you get, the more subtle the vibrations get, the more subtle the energy gets. But you can still feel it once you have kind of let go of, banging your head against the wall or banging your thumb with a hammer. Yeah? So you're going through what I call the void. And in the void, it is really just that recovery period between your thumb getting numb and then recovering and then being able to feel pleasurable sensations. But it's also the shift that you're making, that 180-degree shift that you're making from being motivated by pain and now being motivated by pleasure. And we often don't trust in the beginning being motivated by pleasure. And so what you're looking for is the pressure that you're used to, from being negatively motivated, being motivated by pain. And that has now fallen away, and you're thinking, well, I'm not motivated by anything. What you want to look for is the pull of the motivation on the positive side of the spectrum, that is that pull towards awesomeness, towards pleasure. But it is more subtle because it's not painful. It's pleasurable. Yeah? So what you want to do when you're in the void is you want to go really, really, really general and just focus on visions and ideas and places and activities that make you feel really, really good even if they have nothing to do with making money or pushing you forward in any one of your goals. Just get yourself into the frequency of feeling good, and then see what good feeling things you're being led to do. And you can train yourself to follow the pull of the awesome rather than being pushed by pain. Yeah, but it does take a little bit of time to make that switch over, and everybody that does this work goes through that. I did, everybody that I know did, the thousands of people that I've personally coached have gone through it, and so it works for everybody, including you. So don't despair, and what you don't want to do is start to feel like you're doing something wrong because you don't feel that push, that pressure anymore. You want to let the more subtle motivation of pleasure come through, because if you think that you're doing something wrong and you're beating up on yourself, you're sort of heading back in the wrong direction. You don't want to do that. So I hope I've answered your question to your satisfaction. If you think that this content is valuable, please consider sharing it with your friends or your social media buddies. And if you have a question of your own, then please ask it below, or come to Deliberate Receiving and join the Happy Shiny Puppy Army. And you can download my free ebook and audio, The 7 Steps to Manifestation, which you definitely want. Yeah? This has been this week's Q&A. I'm Melody Fletcher, and I will see you next week. Bye.